here I am, out on the streets with my head in my hands. I've got no plan, only to see you again. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being kicked on the ground. I'm not that strong, but then I come to my senses. Yeah! I'm coming, you can feel my power, and I feel what is real when she feels me, and I feel what is real when she feels me, and I feel. Don't be afraid to that man with the scar on his face. It's a charade. It's just the way you've been living. Yeah! I'm coming. Feel that power. And I feel what is real when she feels it. And I feel what is real when she feels it. Yeah. And I And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me, yeah. And I feel.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is We hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at AstroWorldWeb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to AstroWorldWeb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah. So here I am, out on the streets with my head in my hands. I've got no plans, only to see you again. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being kicked on the ground. I'm not that strong, but then I come to my senses. Yeah! I'm coming, you can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel don't be afraid. Don't do that man with the scar on his face. It's a charade. It's just the way you've been living. Yeah! I'm coming. You can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels it. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is we hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at astroworldweb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Where did my color go? Got your head in the sand. You can't be in control using a powerful hand. I wanna be you, I wanna see you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue, yeah. All right. Cat learns to ring a bell. Rat gets free from the maze. We can ain't been taught to love. We've got to learn to wait. I wanna see, I wanna be, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shadows. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah. I wanna be, I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're going black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. What the hell's wrong with my telescope now? Damn, what's wrong with this thing?
The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell? Who wants things right? Who I make choose to things wrong? If I want to satisfy the line, who I will always take the fall. If I just do myself, I can live from the right. I sleep from that long, and I'm breathing through the night. I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all of the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, and whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back.
Good evening, everybody. How's it going? We are here with Ron Brecher tonight, all the way from Canada, from our friends from the Great White North. What's going on, Ron? How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good, good, good. You know, it's good that, I haven't seen you in a while, I mean, I haven't been taking lessons. I haven't been doing anything, it's been a mess.
The last time we had a good chin wag was when you were sitting in my driveway,
Yeah.
you and me and Sean
Yep.
last summer. And are you coming back up for Starfest this summer?
Oh, I'll definitely be there for Starfest, but you actually may have the privilege of seeing me way before that in April.
Oh,
So-
great.
so, so,
When
and I'll bring up some good whiskey too. So,
are you going to be at NEAT?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be there too. So
Yeah, so we'll have two tables at Neve. We'll have one table for the show and one table for the store. So we'll see
will
how
you
that
be
works
at
out.
NEAC as well or just NEAF?
On the fence. On the fence.
I'm just going to be there for Neath myself. But
NEAC was great last year, but it was just, it was the 4 days was just so exhausting. It was so much.
I know. Intense.
Yeah.
I'm giving more talks.
I might do an every other year thing now that I'm going to start frequenting, Neath. Maybe I'll do it every other year.
I go every year just because I'm speaking at NEAC, which I love to do. Warren Keller, my partner at Masters of Pix Insight, he's going to be at NEAC as well. We're both speaking there.
Okay, nice.
So far, speaking separately, but you never know when some tag teaming could break out.
It'd be like, Sting playing for, when they come out in the crowd and they just like, they just cut, it was great. I went to go see the Rolling Stones at Shea Stadium 20 years ago, and they're playing Honky Tonk Woman, and guess who walks out? You got Eric Clapton coming out playing guitar. So I mean, you had Eric Clapton on one side, and then on the other side, Bruce Springsteen comes walking across on the other side.
Seriously?
So it was it was incredible. What an incredible night! But it can be kind of like that. It's just as big in the AstroWorld, man. And you guys just come across. It's like Kirk and Spock, man.
Yeah.
What a show!
Yeah, that was all. It was only for a couple songs, but it was pretty cool. So they came in.
So I'm going to be giving just going back to Starfest for a second. I'm going to be giving a talk at Starfest this year, so I will definitely be there.
Well, make sure that they spell your name right this time because it was always what was it, Ron Breakfast or something?
Brecher. That's what they are. At NEAC.
Yeah, it was horrible. The spelling was just horrible on everyone, and yours wasn't the only one. There was like 5 different spell things that were on the banners. They were wrong and everything. It was like you're all looking for the spell checker now. But yeah. So
I think they did Plane Wave. They did something funny.
It was
with
Plane Wave. It was Plan Wave. It was Plan Wave.
Plan Wave.
Yeah, it was Plan Wave. Oh man, but yeah. So what you been up to, man? And I got before, after we get into the whole conversation, I do have a technical question regarding Blur Exterminator. So later on when we get into it. So what's going on? What you been up to?
Well, it's been cloudy literally since the end of October. We had 2 we had 2 short clear breaks on December 14th and 15th. And there was a clear night when I was in California. I went to the Nightfall Star Party in November.
I remember. Yeah, you and Tom were hanging out, right?
Yeah, Tom Bramwell and I hung out there. Oh man, it was fun. We had a good time. And but it was so dry. I got back, my lips were falling off. It was brutal.
Oh no.
But anyway, so after coming back, not much in the way of astronomy, at least no acquiring myself because of the weather. So I played a ton of music. I've been playing a lot of music, and both acoustic and electric music. And of course, I'm still doing tons of astronomy during the day, right? Because I teach with Masters of Pix Insight and I teach privately. So lots of astronomy, just not acquiring my own stuff. And
Well, you also have the advantage of having that nice sky shed roll off that
yes.
allows you to even take images whether you want to or not. You know, it'll just do it.
And there was, like I said, when I was in California, there was one clear night here, but I was like drinking from a fire hose in California. We had every night was fantastic, and there was dozens of scopes to look through. So I didn't worry about not imaging for a night at home.
Yeah.
But I am I did make you I had 3 clear nights this week, or like in the last week, I guess. And I totally made use of it. Did some troubleshooting on a little off-axis guiding issue that's solved now, and got 3 really nice pictures. I'm using this Celestron C14 Edge HD that Celestron loaned me, and I don't know if they're ever going to get it back. I'll tell you.
I don't blame you.
No, no.
They're going to have to come get it. They're going to have to come get it. But
they're gonna have to rip it per micro with dead hands.
Don't take it. Don't take it from me.
You know, when a big scope like that is all mounted and all the hardware is connected and all the cabling, management, everything, you can't just come in and take it down in 5 minutes.
No, no. Wait, somebody's breaking into my observatory. It's trying to steal my C14. And they've got a big Celestron jacket on.
You need 2 days, because the first day they'll come with metric tools or something and have to go back and get
What do you mean it's SAE? What are you talking about? I got to throw a shout out to Dylan O'Donnell is in the chat. So welcome, Dylan.
Hey,
how's it going, man?
Going on, man? Hey, listen, and Ron, I'm going to hold you up to this, man. I swear, I've been talking about it for 3 years, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it. I haven't done it yet. I want to do, you know, we got AstroWorld telescopes, we got AstroWorld TV, and it's time to do Astro Jam, and that's what we got to do.
Oh yeah,
we got to do Astro Jam, and we do something simple like walking on the moon, and we'll make a video with everybody on it, and just playing it.
You know what? Just give me the triangle. Just give me a triangle. You know, and I'll just
no. I'm gonna give you the cowbell. It needs more cowbell. I'm gonna give you the cowbell. I'm gonna get Eric. I'm gonna get the Christopher Walken glasses that he had on.
There you go.
Nothing was funnier than Christopher Walken playing Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. But yeah, I definitely want to do it. We'll have Warren playing the sax. We'll have you and Sean and Dylan and whoever else wants to play guitar. I know Dave Schaefer plays, and I play the bass. You know, Charlie Walsh plays the drums, and we'll get everybody just doing a little bit. Take a little video of the song, and we just play the song in the background and mix it down.
I gotta show you something. If I can find it, just talk among yourselves until I find it.
What are you talking about yourself? You're the guest. What are you talking?
I don't know if you can see this. No, I'm sure you can't. I think see it's the musical score for Fear the Reaper, the cowbell part.
Oh, perfect.
It is. I swear.
Oh, wait a minute.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. I got it. Fear the Reaper, cowbell.
It's just I can't read music. I
So
know.
it is. Now, if you know how to read music, it's even funnier than than what that
'Cause
looks
it's
like.
just
All it is straight quarter notes. That's
Oh,
now all you need is like a like all American pair of Speedos, and you're good.
oh, yeah.
oh gosh.
Can you believe I have that on my phone?
The
What a game.
Speedos?
No, the
Oh.
cowbell.
Speedos.
There's no Speedos on my phone.
Oh man,
I don't
yeah.
even think I've got any Speedos in my drawer.
oh my goodness.
Oh man, but
Oh,
so Ron, we know. I think we all saw your picture of the Needle Galaxy that just came out
Yes.
a couple days ago. Looked beautiful. And I'm assuming most of the stuff that you're doing now is with that C14, because you pretty much had that thing put together. I remember when I think your first picture, I think I was there for it. I think or very early in the time that you got it.
you were there for the first light.
The first light, right?
I was
Yeah.
so proud.
Yep. Yep. That was
Yeah, that was in August.
yeah. I think you were
Yeah.
doing the dumbbell. I think if I remember right,
Yeah.
dumbbell. Yeah,
Yeah.
the dumbbell. I think you were doing
No, the crescent. The crescent.
the
It was
crescent.
the crescent.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
And I had a collimation problem that ended up not being a collimation problem. It was a misaligned optic in the train. But anyway, that's all behind me. And I've actually got the best of both worlds because mounted on top of the C14, I have a little TAC FS60 with a one-shot color camera.
a little tack.
Just a little one.
Seriously, it's a 60 millimeter, right? So
It's still a tack.
360. Yeah, it's great scope. But on nights when the transparency is good, but the seeing is crappy, the C14 is really too big.
Yep.
To get a good picture. But I've got the little 60 millimeter to do nice wide field stuff on. So
Yeah, there you
best of both
go. Nice.
worlds.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But,
And if I ever get stuck, I can use it as a very expensive guide scope.
yeah, just a little bit,
So here's something cool. I was having problems with my off-axis guider a couple of nights ago. And rather than try to fix them because I didn't want to go out, it was cold. Didn't want to screw around. I thought, well, let's just see whether I can shoot unguided. So I shortened the exposure time to 1 minute, and I have a good mount. It's a Paramount MX. The PEC is trained, periodic error is trained, and I have like a 200-point pointing model. So I went unguided for 1 minute, and I got 3 hours. I didn't throw away a single frame for 3 hours.
Wow.
But I couldn't really go longer than 1 minute.
1 minute.
So, yeah. But that's that little galaxy cluster that I showed you, Dan, before the
Yeah,
show
yeah.
started.
Yeah, if you want to show
That
it,
was
feel free to show it if you want.
oh, sure. So toggle screen sharing. Let's see, entire screen share, and let me. So for this one, I actually have to show you in PixInsight because I haven't got a JPEG of it yet. Do you see my screen okay?
Yes. Yep, we sure do.
Okay, so open recent project. So again, this is about 3 hours of 1 minute subs. And this is still in linear form. I've done background correction and color correction on this. And I don't know if you can see all these little
Oh yeah.
galaxies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's hundreds of them. There's a little smudge over here and dozens over there. And I made a synthetic luminance, which I haven't done anything to yet. It still needs the gradient correction to be done and so on. But this was all done with 1 minute subs. And
Wow.
and The other thing I showed when I was with Dan beforehand, if I just take a little trip into the future and put some color into this, you can see the colors came out really nice. That's one thing about this scope. The star colors are fantastic.
Yeah.
In which 60 millimeter is this?
This is not a 60. This is a
Oh,
14-inch. Yeah,
oh,
this
that's the
is the
14.
14.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that is 3,912 millimeter focal length.
Wow. Yeah, that's some.
Jeez.
Yep, that's some reach. That is some
Oh, it's
serious
nutty.
reach.
And you're shooting that natively, right? You got no reducer on that.
Yeah, so I'm shooting at f11.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
And
F14s
so
are at f11.
yeah, you would think that that would be really like photographic. It is really photographically slow relative to everything else. But even in 1 minute subs, because the read noise of the cameras these days is so low. And I'm actually using the double correlated multi-sampling readout mode. It's a new mode, readout mode in QHY that gives you better read noise effectively. So 5 1-minute exposures is a lot more like 1 5-minute exposure than it used to be.
Wow.
Technology.
Yeah.
Improvements, innovation. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So even at f11 with 1 minute subs, I'm getting really good signal. I'm getting great results.
And that
Now
was
that
3
needle
hours
galaxy,
worth?
that was only 3 hours.
That is crazy.
Even the needle galaxy was 4 hours and change or something.
Yeah, and that looked great.
Now I'm binning the camera. The camera's been 2x2, which does increase the apparent sensitivity, but I need to do that, otherwise I'm oversampled. As it is with binning, I'm at 0.4 arc seconds per pixel.
Wow.
So that's already giving me everything that the sky will give me. Right, I'm getting every bit of detail that the sky will give.
Yeah.
I'm slightly oversampled now.
Okay.
Not excessively.
Yeah, but oversample, there's been that's a good thing to maybe talk about a little bit, because I know we haven't talked about it in a while, this debate between over and under on the sampling side. And people say, some people say, well, undersampling, you can dither, and oversampling you can correct with other software. So I know a lot of people would say they'd rather oversample than undersample. And what do you think about that?
I think that so each of them has disadvantages, and neither of them has much advantage compared to correctly sampling. So when you are correctly sampling the sky, first of all, for people who don't know what that is, that means that you're milking every bit of detail out of the sky that it will give you given your equipment, right? And this really comes down to image scale and the Nyquist theorem. Now, before we get into that, if you're shooting wide field Milky Way shots, none of this matters. Right? So when I produce a picture, I'm not expecting people to zoom in to the level of 32 pixels and pixel peak, but they do. That's not, that's not what I presented. I presented, say, the needle galaxy.
Yeah.
Right? I meant to look at the whole thing. Okay, but that said, if you want to take advantage of what the sky will give you, you need to know what you're seeing is. Because the problem that you have to solve, here's the problem that you have to solve. You have an analog signal coming in from the sky, and it's being captured in a digital medium. So the question is, how many pixels do you need to adequately sample the analog signal so that you can reproduce it digitally? Okay. So the answer is, 1 pixel's not enough. If you tried to sample a star with 1 pixel, you'll get a square star. That doesn't look anything like the thing you're sampling.
Right.
1,000,000 pixels is probably too many. You don't need that many to show a round star. So the answer's somewhere in the middle, right? And it turns out that's where the Nyquist theorem comes in. And what it basically says is that if you get your get your star on a 3x3 grid roughly, that's almost enough to sample it. So really what you want is for an image scale to be about 1/3 of your seeing.
Right.
So if you live, like I live in Southern Ontario, my average seeing is around maybe 2.5 arc seconds. I'd like to get, ideally, 1/3 of them to adequately get everything the sky will give.
So like 0.7
Now
or
on my,
so.
right. But on my best nights, I get 1.5 arc seconds.
Okay.
So really, I want to be at around 0.5. With the C14 and a binned my camera binned, I'm at 0.4.
Nice.
So I'm pretty close to where I should be. So now let's look at what are the advantages and disadvantages of undersampling and oversampling. If you're undersampled, your smallest stars will look square.
Yes.
Not enough pixels, right? You can ameliorate that with drizzle processing, which was a technique developed for NASA, right? Or by NASA, I should say, to get more detail out of the Hubble.
Right.
And so that's drizzle. The problem with that is that you end up with humongous images. So if you have a 6,000 by 4,000 camera and you drizzle, upsize it by 2-fold, you've got now huge image to process, and your computer may not be up to it. The other thing is for drizzle, you need for drizzle and upsizing, you need lots of well-dithered frames.
Yep.
Not everybody dithers, and not everybody gets a lot of frames. And if you shoot 5-minute frames like I do, you may not get as many frames as you need. Maybe you should be shooting 1-minute frames if you plan to drizzle. Okay, so that's the downside of undersampling. Square stars, you can somewhat fix it with drizzle. Usually if you're undersampled, it means you have a nice big field of view, so that's a positive.
Right.
So what's the downsides of oversampling? Well, you basically have empty magnification, right? Well, everything will look bloated, but you can downsample that. But if you were going to downsample it anyway, then you might as well bin your camera or get a smaller telescope.
Yeah.
And that takes you to the other problem of oversampling. You paid too much for your mount.
Yep.
Right? If you're oversampled, it means you're using higher resolution than the sky will give you. And so you could have gotten away with a shorter focal length and therefore a lighter mount to carry all your equipment, which means you save a little bit of money. So I would say try to be properly sampled.
Because, Ron, correct me, when you're oversampled, because you mentioned that you overspend on your mount, you bought too much, you spent too much on your mount. It's because you need much better guiding, correct? Or yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, bigger scope. Put it this way: it's less forgiving.
Okay. Yeah, guiding is less forgiving.
It's less forgiving of tracking errors, guiding errors, polar misalignment. The bigger your setup, the less forgiving. So, like, probably the ideal beginner set. This is a question that always comes up, right? What should I start with? The ideal beginner setup is an 80mm refractor.
Yep.
F6 with a focal reducer, right? Sitting somewhere around, 400, 300mm focal length, a small mount, and a one-shot color camera.
Yeah.
It's forgiving.
It is, and we, a lot of us talk, a couple of us in the chat are golfers, and we always talk about, the forgivingness is kind of like there's two different, for those of you that don't know, there's two different types of golf clubs out there. There are offsets and blades. blades are a lot smaller of a sweet spot where offsets are nice and forgiving. So your ball will go straighter with a bigger club face. Same thing
Yeah.
with a bigger field of view as opposed to a bigger club face. It's more forgiving. You're not going to sit there and say, okay, you know what, you don't need arc second, sub arc second guiding on an 80 millimeter.
No. Well, put it this way: say you're guiding with one arc second guiding.
Right.
Right. If you're using, say, my 60 millimeter refractor, I'm at 2.7 arc seconds per pixel. So 1 arc second of guiding error, it never leaves the pixel. Never leaves the pixel that it's on. Whereas if I have the same guiding error, 1 arc second, on the C14, that image scale is 0.4 arc seconds. So now the guiding error works out to about 2 pixels on the main camera, and you get oblong stars.
Yeah.
You can see it. So that's what we mean when we say it's more forgiving, the smaller scope. What's happening to you?
I'm digitizing. You know what? I'm digitizing.
Matrixing.
It's like matrixing.
What did you do, dude?
I have done nothing.
There you go.
It's either, oh, there he is.
Back.
It was either a glitch in the matrix or the transporter malfunction.
There it goes again. Now I'm like the Cheshire Cat.
You
know, just seeing my head.
Oh, this is strong beer.
Yeah. Oh wait till you do something like this. There you go. You do like something like this.
Oh,
yeah. They need to start wigging people out.
You're messing me up now.
Sorry, now he's getting thinner. Look, I'm losing weight.
And Leon's getting larger.
I'm going to be talking, by the way, when we go to Nien, I'm going to be talking about image scale.
Nice.
One of my talks is on image scale.
Nice.
All right, so I got actually, there's a couple of questions in the chat first before we go into my question, because there was one about the C14 from Jerry. Question, Ron, when imaging with the 14 Edge, do you shoot stars separately, shorter subs for size and color?
No. I found it really easy if I just have one exposure length for everything. So I shoot 5 minutes through every filter all the time, unless there's a really compelling reason not to. And a compelling reason not to would be if I'm shooting unguided, in which case I would do 1 minute subs, like I said. The other compelling reason to shoot short subs would be if I'm shooting a high dynamic range object like the Orion Nebula and I needed some shorter subs to recover detail in the core.
Nice. Somebody was asking about the I'm looking for it. The image sampling formula. What is it?
Yeah.
Focal length divided by.
Yeah, I posted it up. It's like pixel size divided by focal length times.
Oh, you want the image scale formula?
Right?
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted it up.
But you can go to astronomy tools.
Yep.
Yes.
And they've got a pixel scale calculator there. Just enter the details of your sensor and your focal length. That image scale thing, by the way, it only depends on 2 things: focal length and pixel size.
Yep.
Those are the only 2 things you need to know to determine the image scale.
Dylan wants to know Gibson or Fender.
Hold on.
He's going to take out the PRS now. That's what he's going to do.
No. Don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
I think we already did.
Yeah.
This is
the carbon fiber monster that he was talking. He got the
carbon fiber. This is an Emerald X20 carbon fiber. And this is just one of my carbon fiber guitars. This one. This is a little, so Dylan, go on to Emerald Guitars.
Yeah, I know
They're
Emerald.
made in, this is a 12-string short scale. And it's all of these, they're completely carbon fiber. I don't know if you can see the carbon weave very well.
Not,
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
a little
Now I'm
bit
making
on the black.
Yeah, now now you can.
Yeah, you might see the sound hole is offset at the top, which goes up to the player. And this little guy has like a mandolin voice.
Yeah, you can barely hear the music, but
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and I also have a Gibson and a Fender. But I have a Martin D28 that unfortunately may never come out of the box again. These carbon fiber guitars are ridiculous.
yeah.
So
We do have another question here for either of you want to answer. Chris was asking, how do you determine your seeing quantitatively? How do you determine
you basically you determine it by proxy. It's not an accurate measure of seeing, but it's close, and that is the full width half maximum of the star in focus.
Okay.
That is effectively you're seeing full width half maximum or more stable half flux radius. But really, that's just a proxy. It's just a proxy for your seeing.
Got you.
So you can use it more for relative seeing. So on a night where I'm getting full width half maximum of 2 arc seconds, my stars are 2/3 the size of when it's 3 arc seconds. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Maybe.
Perfect sense.
But effectively, if you divide, because the Nyquist theorem only requires division by 2, if you divide by 3, you'll have enough. If you take that full width half maximum, divide by 3, that's going to be about your optimal image scale. And also, you can't get too hung up about this. So plus or minus a factor of 2, you're in the sweet spot.
Yep.
The real key thing, like for me, I want to avoid any square stars. That means I'm leaving detail on the table. So you want to look at your smallest stars to see how your sampling is.
Yeah, so I got something. I got something for Dylan since he's in the chat. Give me 1 second.
You playing music? Turn it up.
That was you? Yeah, I don't hear it.
This is me over here.
There you
There you go. And just a flashback. There you go. There's the Rado man with the Rickenbacker. There you go. So
Yeah, Josh, your question, can you determine you're seeing from something on ASI Air? It's I believe yes, you can. When you're looking at your stars, I haven't used my ASI Air in a while, but there is a spot where you can take a look at your stars, and I believe they do give you a determination based off of half flux diameter. That
So the half flux diameter is just as good. I mean, it's a very similar measurement, and it's more stable to bad seeing.
Yes.
Than the full width half maximum. So the half flux diameter, if you divide that by 3, you'll be in the zone.
Yeah. So if you take a look, my mind's drawing a blank because, like I said, I haven't used my ASI Air in a while. But you can take a look at your stars, and that can determine based off of that information, how you're seeing is.
Yeah, it's really tough. Now speaking of which, now this kind of comes up to the question that I was alluding to before. So, Blur Exterminator, number one, I know there's been a bunch of questions recently and throughout the year that it's been almost a year since he kind of came out and just pummeled everybody with all this AI stuff.
Oh, Gideon, that poutine or no poutine, Ron? Sorry,
No poutine, no poutine,
no poutine.
no poutine, no ketchup chips. There you
No
go.
cowbell.
Yeah, done. But,
Thank you.
but so number one, I mean, the first thing I think we should kind of like talk about is order of when you should apply all these AI processes, because a lot of people are getting them kind of, what do I do first? What do I do second? What do I need to do first? What do I do last? When do we apply these linearly or non-linear? What do I do with these processes?
Okay, so let's start out with just clearing a couple of things up. The tools may use artificial intelligence to do their job, but you need actual human intelligence to swing the hammer,
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. Okay?
absolutely.
So it's not just because we have the tools doesn't mean all the pictures come out fabulous. You can really overdo it or not hit it hard enough. When should you? And then the other thing I wanted to say, because I get asked, and I'm going to answer, but Russ Croman does a great job documenting his tools. If you read about those tools, he really does give a great explanation of when to use them and how to use them and when to use different options. But to cut to the chase, Blur Exterminator I use very close to the beginning of the workflow. Let's say we're working on a color image. I would do gradient removal with either DBE or gradient exterminator. I'm talking in PixInsight, by the way.
Right.
If you're using Photoshop, you could use Russ Croman's gradient exterminator or GrandExpert. So I do the gradient removal and the color balancing, and then I do the first pass of deconvolution, which is correct only. So there, all I'm doing really is fixing the stars so that when I do color calibration in the next step, the stars are in as good shape as they can be. Right after that, I do Blur Exterminator again.
Okay.
This time with default or adjusted settings to do the full deconvolution. So that first pass on the stars only was just to prepare them for color calibration. After color calibration, I do Blur Exterminator again. Actually, you know what would help here? I'm going to turn my screen on again.
Okay.
This would really help because just give me a second here. In PixInsight, I use icon sets, and they show the order that I do things in. So if I just open up one of my icon sets, this is like my default set. Oops. So the way my icon set works is I have a utility belt up here and a utility belt down here. They're not really part of the workflow. This is the linear part. This is the stretch. This is the nonlinear part. So what I do is I make my color image and maybe a synthetic luminance, and then I will crop both of them. Then I'll do background neutralization with either DBE or GrandExpert. Sometimes I try both because you get different results depending on which one you use. I might need to solve the image to use spectrophotometric color calibration, but one way or another, the next main thing is color calibration. If I have things beside each other, you do one or the other, but not both, or not all of them. So I might do plain old color calibration, or I might do spectrophotometric. I told you that if you have chromatic aberration, what you really want to do is have this correct only blur exterminator before color calibration. I'm updating my icon set as we go. And then afterwards, you want like a standard pass of blur exterminator here, right after color calibration. I'm renaming it. Then I take the stars in. So you were asking the order I do things in: blur exterminator, star removal, noise exterminator. And if you look at everything that I did in the linear state, it was all about taking stuff out of the image. So took out the bad, I started to take out the bad edges, take out the gradient, take out the blurring function of the atmosphere, take out the spurious color, take out the atmospheric effects again, separate out the stars, take out the noise. It's all taking stuff out. Then I stretch. And now everything else is about enhancement. So if I have hydrogen alpha or oxygen, I add it here. And then you asked, do you do this in linear or nonlinear? All of these were in the nonlinear, or were in the linear state before stretching. The only thing I do after stretching with these tools is noise reduction, because then I can do a second stretch. And then all of this is just enhancement. And here's where I put the stars again, which I process separately. Okay, now I will breathe.
Nice.
All right, that's a really good explanation. Appreciate that, because I know we've had a lot of questions. Eric, you got some lighting.
Yeah,
issues
I don't know
going
what's going on. It's just all of a sudden.
I've been fixing it on the fly.
I'm falling apart. It's
You
okay.
really are.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm falling apart here.
I am so gonna. I wish I could just. I wish you were wearing a green shirt. Then you'd just be like.
Yeah. Then I, you know what? And then it would all probably work together. I would just be headless. I'll be bodiless. I'll just be a big head floating around.
Yeah, that's it. You'll be like Max Headroom.
I think the real Eric has been abducted, and this is an imposter. Digital imposter.
I know, it's crazy.
Let's see if I do
one thing, Ron, what has you mentioned a lot of AI, and there's all these other tools that have been coming out from different people, new scripts. How have you had a chance yourself to experiment, or do you use it regularly? And what is your opinion, say, on like generalized hyperbolic stretch, for example?
Yeah. So, okay. So I teach Pix Incident, right? I teach in groups and I teach privately. So I wouldn't say I've achieved this, but I try to learn every process and script in Pix Insight. Certainly everything that's in the general release, and as much as I can about the add-ons, mostly free add-ons that people write. And I have to be able to use them to be able to explain why I don't use them. Okay. So that said, now you asked about GHS. Fantastic tool. I can see why other people use it, because in some ways it's easier than the way I do things. But I get better results using histogram transformation, followed possibly by an HDR technique. And now there's more than one, right? In addition to HDRMT, we've got Russ Croman's color corrected HDRMT. And Jürgen, I'm going to say the name wrong, Jürgen Turpe's script that does, it's called Create HDR Image. and it's installed. If you install the Graxpert script, you'll find that in your toolbox, and it's the best method I've found for HDR compression.
Huh.
So yeah, I try everything, and I try to get proficient, because sometimes I have clients that want to learn how to use GHS, and I can show them.
Yeah.
But usually when I find out what it is that they're trying to get that they're not getting, we can find another way to do it. But that put it this way: everybody has a preferred tool, and
Yep,
there's
absolutely.
lots of people getting great pictures.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter to me what tool you use for delinearizing your image. Hyperbolic stretch, generalized hyperbolic stretch works great. It's just not my go-to
Yeah.
technique.
That's yeah. Everybody has their own, like you say. Everybody has their go-to. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like HT. I'll occasionally use ArcSine H stretch because it kind of has some of the best of both worlds of the mass stretch for color preservation and histogram transformation. You know what I really want them to do is give us one more control point in HT. So in histogram transformation right now, we have a blank, a midpoint, and highlight.
Yep.
I'd like another control point. Give me 4 control points so that I can prevent the stars from blowing out.
There you go.
There we go.
You
Yeah.
know? But that's not what I have right now, and I don't care anymore because if you noticed, I don't have any stars in my image when I stretch it.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't need to.
the next question I have is actually more of a personal thing for me. Now, Ron, you and I have spoke ad nauseum regarding, and everybody in the chat knows, and everybody knows my troubles in my backyard regarding the telephone wires and
Your video.
oh yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
horrible. And so I believe it or not, I was talking to Sean today on the phone, and we were just yapping, we were just catching up on the phone, and we're thinking about, and we're talking about blur exterminator. I'm like, wait, so like these things really, like these telephone wires literally split my stars. Everything looks like Saturn. Everything has stretches across because of all the telephone wires.
Yeah, Blur should fix them.
That's I think I'm gonna try Blur Exterminator in the correct only mode to kind of bring them back. And if that's the case, my northern sky becomes feasible again, because right now I got
Try it.
3 big telephone lines right in front of me that literally act like spider veins.
Do they act like spider vein? Do they give you like a spectrum, a red, green, blue?
No
Different
color
color?
change. It's just a stretching,
Like
like
a
a
big
splitting
diffraction?
of the stars, like a diffraction spike.
Yeah, they might make those go away.
Yeah,
Try it.
yeah. That's what I'm gonna say. We got
Why not?
we got another question from Tom Peter. Um, on the create
Hello, Tom.
HDR image script, how much percent HDR do you typically use?
I use about 25% usually. You don't want so much compression that you turn it flat. So I use 25, but experiment. One of the nice things about that script, I'm pretty sure it has an on-the-fly preview where it updates the preview as you're adjusting the settings.
Yep.
Yeah, I used it a couple of days ago on the Andromeda Galaxy core. Also, it respects masks. So you can put a mask on your image first so that you're just compressing the part that you want to. The other thing you could do is you could make a clone of your image, compress that more than you want to, and then blend that compressed image back in through a mask. But I think if you mess around a little bit with Create HDR Image, the script, it does all those things, and you get a on the fly real-time preview.
Nice.
So give it a try.
Everyone's making fun of me now. They're calling it Wire Exterminator, and hey, if it works, it works. The B, watch the channel because it's gonna come out. I'm gonna have it.
I'll tell you something else. Russ is always looking for training images.
Yeah.
Right. So all of these AI tools only are as good as the images that they're trained on. So Russ might be very interested in receiving images of that specific aberration that you have and using them to further train the AI.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm telling you right now, I use the AP scope in my northern sky, and I'm telling you, like any star that goes through, like if it's looking through the telephone wire, it's got this different, and it's not all the stars in the picture. So it really, it totally befuddled me for months. Didn't know what it was. Only some, because the telephone wire is they're not straight across. They're on an angle across my backyard. So not all the stars would be split. Only some of the stars in certain sections of the picture, and it was confused the crap
Have
out
you
of me for
tried
months.
have you tried using a really big dither so that the spikes are in different stars in every
I don't
frame?
think I could dither enough to get that type of result because literally I have 3 telephone wires in my northern sky, literally 30 feet in front of the objective.
Yeah.
So, and on the right side, in the top right, to the left side, the bottom corner. That's how it kind of works. It goes kind of down in the scope, and it just mostly it's just a really brighter. Well, you could see them in the dimmer ones, but they're not as prevalent. But you know, if I'm looking at the North Star when I'm when I'm polar aligning, let's say, and I'm doing it, and I'm seeing the North Star, and I'm seeing I don't have like a spider vein in my refractor.
Have you thought about putting some fishing line across the refractor so that
Yeah,
all your
I was
spikes
just gonna do it one way because it's all set the other way. So I'm just gonna go on a 90-degree angle and you know get some scotch tape and then I'm good. But hey, you know,
Everybody's saying, Chris, this is Dan. Dan just needs to move. Matt's saying, simple solution, move.
I do. Thank you guys. I appreciate what we're trying real hard to do that, and unfortunately, Long Island, it's a little tough. So eventually, it'll happen. We'll see.
Yeah, Greg has a question here as
Yep.
well.
Go.
What drizzle settings are the best to use for one-shot color versus Hubble palette data in PixInsight if you have well-dithered images? Are they the same or are they different?
It depends on whether you're undersampled or oversampled or correctly sampled. And it also depends on how many frames you have. And again, I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you this. Share and let me go back to PixInsight. So I'm going to assume that the person asking the question does drizzle using weighted batch preprocessing rather than doing it manually. Most people do it this way. And the drizzle configuration is all over here in the post calibration tab. So if you want it on, you need to enable it. And so what's being asked really is what scale should I use? What's the drop shrink parameter that I should use? And what's the function that I should use? So let's take those one at a time. First of all, if you have enough data, you should always use drizzle, whether you're shooting one-shot color or mono. The latest thinking from the PixInsight people is you should always use drizzle, so this should always be enabled. If you're correctly or oversampled, leave the scale at 1 and the drop shrink at 0.9. If you are undersampled, in other words, if your smallest stars are square, increase this to 2. So correctly sampled, leave it at 1. Undersampled, increase it to 2. The function square, I use square, circular, or Gaussian depending on how many frames I have. So if I have, say, 25 or 30 frames, I'll use square. If I have 50, I'll use circular. Gaussian is more computationally intensive and you need more frames. So if I have 100 frames, I'll probably use Gaussian. You never need to change the grid size, or at least I have never needed to change the grid size. And when you get to the end, compare the drizzled result to the regular result. You'll get both. And look at the smallest stars in both images. And you'll see that the square stars that you had in your undersampled images will be cleaned up. So the rules, again, are always drizzle. If you're undersampled, scale it 2 times. If you're correctly sampled, don't scale it up. Drop shrink around 0.9 is usually pretty good. And the function you choose based on how many frames you have, 25 for square, 50 for circular, 75 to 100 for Gaussian. Those are guidelines, not rules. They're not based in, let's say, in detailed mathematics that I've done myself. They are the guidance that I've read from credible sources at PixInsight. This is how I understand them.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned the number of frames. Now, when you're talking monochrome, you are referring to if you're using 20, if you have 20 reds or 20 and 20 greens, each of each filter, not overall.
Yeah,
you're
that's
talking
correct.
each per filter.
Yeah, that's correct. For monochrome cameras, you stack them 1 filter at a time, and it's how many go into the stack that is the count of how many frames.
Yes.
This drizzle configuration would be applied. Maybe it would help if I loaded up some files.
Now, they're talking also, someone mentioned, what are we calling well dithered? How many pixels is well dithered? I also have a follow-up on that is how many lights, or like, when you're dithering, how many are we talking? How many are you dithering, say, every 4, every, are you calling every 6, every 3?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So dither every frame. Costs you nothing. Dither every frame. That's what well dithered means. And as far as the amount of the dither, you should be able to see the stars move a teeny bit between frames. If you can see it, that's enough. And in terms of the number, I aim for 3 pixels on the main camera. Right. The point of moving things around is that the bad pixels always stay in the same place. So when you later on register all the good pixels, the bad pixels go out of alignment and they get rejected. That's why we dither. So dither every frame. If you dither every 4th frame, then what's happening is that that bad pixel falls in the same spot on 4 frames. And now the rejection algorithm might think it's starting to look real. So dither every frame, a few pixels.
So Tom's got a question regarding if I'm sampling correctly, what's the purpose of drizzling?
The purpose of drizzling is to improve the resolution. Try it; you'll see a difference. And also go onto the PixInsight forum and look for the recent guidance from Juan Conejero on drizzling. But it basically the other thing you can do is take your drizzled and your undrizzled frame. And I want to come back to something. But you can go into, I'm going to exit out of here. You can go into process, image, and image statistics. And you can get the statistics on your image, including the signal to noise ratio. Actually, signal to noise ratio, you're better off to go use the, under image analysis, use the SNR script that comes from Hartmut Bornemann.
Yeah.
And that'll tell you your signal to noise ratio. And you should see a signal to noise ratio improvement in the drizzled versus the undrizzled frame at the same sampling. So if you don't even scale it up, if you just use 1 times drizzle or no drizzle, so they're the same size and everything, you'll see the drizzled version looks better. Now, if you're using a one-shot color camera, there's a different reason to always drizzle. When you debuyer, your images, there's a type of interpolation that goes on that doesn't happen when you do drizzle integration. The decoding of the image is done differently, and it produces a better result. It used to be, actually, I think it might still be in the manual drizzle process. It used to be called CFA drizzle.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. Now that happens automatically in the script if it detects a CFA image. But this does that. I'm going to call it debayering, but it isn't debayering. It effectively does it without the debayer, without interpolation, I should say, and gives a better result, measurably better in signal to noise ratio. Hopefully, I answered that question.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Frank had a question saying, you said dithering is free. However, I'm seeing that when I'm guiding, it seems to take a very long time for the guider to settle when I dither.
So there's a couple of things you can do there. The first thing is you can change your dither parameters. Maybe your dither is bigger than it needs to be, right? So all we want to see is a little bit of movement. The bigger the dither, the longer it's going to take to get back. The other thing you can do is, and you're probably using some software like PhD. Most software like that, I use PhD myself with the C14. It has a parameter in the dither settings, or your capture software will have this, that tells it how close do I have to be to back on the star before I can start imaging. So if you have that at a really small number, it can take a long time to settle. If you put it at a higher number, just incrementally go higher and higher till the time between dithers decreases. And so between that and making the dither steps a little bit smaller, you might find the cost of that dither becomes lower.
Gotcha.
Good.
All right.
Any other questions?
Not at the moment.
My dithers now, by the way, so when I had my settle tolerance set at 0.5 pixel, right? My dithers would always time out. My settle would time out after about, I think my timeout was set for 30 seconds. But what I did is I changed the dither the reset tolerance, the coming back tolerance, to some crazy ass number like 2 pixels. And it works perfectly now, and it settles in 2 seconds.
Wow.
Right. I don't see any error in the guide graph.
Well, Josh had a question and asking if there's any harm in 2x drizzle if you're correctly sampled.
Well, it depends on how much hard drive space you have and how fast your processor is. Everything is going to take 4 times longer and take 4 times as much space. That's going to be the main cost. However, if you don't have square stars in your image, you're probably not going to benefit from the upsampling.
All right. Let's see. Good to know. I need to check my settings because my dithering takes me more time than I like. I think you could set that in Nina. So
Yeah, there's a you can do that in the guider tab, and I think there's some stuff in under options imaging.
yeah.
Hang on, I'm just gonna look. I've got Nina here. I can quickly check it. I can check that fast. Yeah, so under equipment guider, you'll be able to set a little bit of that stuff. And under options, just a second here. Yeah, I think it's going to be under the main equipment tab under guider. After you've connected your guider, I'm just going to connect a. Oh, I don't. I was kind of hoping I could connect a fake guider,
You can
but
do
I can't.
You do a simulator?
Let's try. Yeah, I can't. I can't. Unfortunately, I don't have a simulator here that I can use to check that. But I'm almost positive it's on the equipment guider that you'll be able to set all that stuff.
Gotcha.
I'm not connected to the observatory computer. I have a copy of Nina here that I can use just for looking
Just to
at
play
little
around.
stuff. But if you don't connect, you can't see it.
Gotcha. Oh man. So
There was one website that I used. I don't know if any of you all have heard it. It was called the Interactive Dithering Calculator. And
yeah, you probably have to put in the image scale of both.
Yes.
Basically, you put in the pixel size and focal length of both scopes, and it tells you how many pixels on the guide camera is equal to enough pixels on the main camera.
The main camera.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it would tell you basically, then it would put out, go through the calculation, it would spit out, okay, this is how many, pixels recommend based off of that information, how many pixels you should dither.
Yeah.
Where your dither pixels are. And for me, coming out with mine, it came up with 13, with my current rig, So
now, bear in mind, so I've done this experiment with my data at 0.4 arc seconds per pixel. If I have, say, 50 5-minute subs with any filter, the difference between drizzling and not drizzling is really small, but it's measurable. I can't see it with my eyes, but every time the drizzled version is better than the undrizzled version in signal to noise ratio. And we're doing, forget astronomy, we're doing ultra low signal photography, right? So the better the signal to noise ratio you have in every sub, theoretically, the better your master is going to be and the better you're going to do overall.
Nice. All right.
So,
I'm looking for
Any
some
more?
more questions.
no, yeah, Ernie was
I gotta
saying 3 pixels on the imaging camera or the guide camera, so I'm not sure for dithering.
It's on the imaging camera is the only one I care about. You have to do a little bit of math to figure out how many pixels do I have to move on the imaging camera. On the guide camera. How many pixels do I have to move the guide camera to get 1 pixel on the main camera? And then whatever that number is, multiply it by 2 or 3, and you'll have a 2 or 3 pixel dither. Use that at astronomy tools. Use that pixel scale calculator to calculate your guiding pixel scale, right? And then your main pixel scale. And that's the question: how much do I have to move the guide camera to get 3 pixels motion on the main camera?
There you go.
And it might be really small. Like if you're using a small guide scope with a big focal length, you might only need to move half a pixel or a pixel on your guide camera to get a big movement on the main camera.
I've actually started moving over and using mine, and a couple other people commented here as well, using my off-axis guider on on all of on both rigs, the large long focal length, and even my refractor. I have the smaller.
Yeah.
OAG.
You still have to do that calculation though, because it's a good chance that the pixel size of the guider will be different than the pixel size of your main camera. I've been using an off-axis guider for 10 years maybe. I love them.
Yeah.
On the C14, a challenge sometimes is finding a guide star.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Get that focal length. But I really, the only times I've really had trouble is when the guide camera hasn't been properly, really tightly focused.
Now, with something like that, with such a long focal length scope like that, and you're using an off-axis guider, are you using, like say the 174, the larger, with larger pixels, or are you just binning or anything like that?
Binning 2x2.
Binning 2x2.
But I'm guiding at about the same pixel scale as I'm imaging, around 0.4 arc seconds per pixel.
Ernie had a question. If processing oversampled data, do you downsample? And if you do, when?
If you've got seriously oversampled data, you can downsample it before you do anything to it. Like after you've made your masters, you could downsample at any time.
Okay. And do you use
Sooner
the Celestron 08?
Again, it takes 4 times as long. If it's got more resolution than the sky provided, you don't lose anything.
Yeah. Which OAG are you using on that? Are you using the Celestron one, or
I'm using a QHY integrated. Well, it's not integrated, but it's made basically for that system.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's in front of the filter wheel, so it's not affected by changing your filters or anything like that.
Yeah, I had a gentleman that was I was testing their telescope, and we actually this image train put together. It looks like we had the Monster Moag from Astrodon on it.
Yeah.
Really nice auto guider. And I'm sorry, off-axis guider. And turns out that it was installed backwards. So the tilted side was facing, the flat side was facing towards the camera. So it's funny. I've never seen a picture come out this way before. So it was like it was half light and half dark. So yeah. So it's like, what is that? What is it? I mean, I'm thinking, well, did the prism drop? Is it too high? Is it too low? I'm like, and then I said, let's open this thing up, and I open it up and I look inside. I said, that's not right. So yeah, you want to make sure that the flat side, the flat side of the prism is star side. So
telescope.
Yeah. So it was funny because we were like looking at it for like an hour. We're like, what the hell is going on? And flipped it over, and everything was fine. Now we just got to get it focused. It's tough to get it in focus. So because he's at an 11-inch edge, and
that's a nice scope too.
Yep. But I think one of the things that we were looking at was the way his image train was. His rotator was behind the off-axis guider. So when you rotate, yeah, exactly. So when you rotate something, so the rotator was closer to the camera than the off-axis guider. So now when you rotate it, you're doing flats. I'm like, dude, all your dust motes are going to be in a different spot no matter what you do. If you do it off axis, so you can't do anything. So he can't really get it into focus because you can't get the camera close enough because the off axis guider is too far up the train. And so now we had to take that apart. We had to do a whole couple of troubleshooting there. So
Usually the manufacturers, if you're using like an integrated set, if you're using one manufacturer's stuff, they'll have diagrams that show you exactly what spacers you need so that your OHD and your main camera come to focus at the same point.
Yep.
So that and $2 will get you a cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
Because that's not always so
Frank
easy.
had a question here. Can one-shot color camera data be bent to reduce resolution when using a long focal length telescope without losing color info? Lots of forums discuss this, but I haven't seen a good answer.
I tried it recently and I wasn't able to get color because I found it confusing too. But no, you can't bend your color camera. If you do, you lose your color information.
That's horrible.
Okay.
Oh, we got
On the other
Corin
hand,
in the chat there. Got another question from Jerry. So if my guiding is having trouble settling after dithering, might this be from too much dither?
Probably not, but it could be. I mean, guiding is really notoriously difficult to nail down, especially if you're new to it. You have to do the experiment. So if you think your dither might be too big, make your dither smaller. And remember, your dither doesn't, first of all, do the calculation. Do this by your objective. Your objective is to get movement on the main camera by a few pixels. So figure out what that looks like in a dither. You might find that you need much less than you're doing. If you're using an external small guide scope to guide a bigger scope, you may be doing much more dithering, like a bigger dither than you need.
Frank had a question here, and I actually shot him my answer here, but I'd like to hear from you guys. In PhD 2, which guide algorithm should be set for RA and declination? Is there any reason to change it from hysteresis? My personal answer with this was to rely on the guiding assistant. If you use the guiding assistant, a lot of times, and you go through the maybe 1 or 2 worm cycles, it will come back and make recommendations. I know for me, on declination, I switched, I believe, to low pass 2 is what they recommended for me. So for me, it just depends on, it just based off of the guiding assistant and what, it told me. So what about you guys?
Yeah. And you shouldn't have to run that every time. You should do it once and then use those settings.
Yep.
Right. So first of all, I agree with you. Use the guiding assistant. Follow the advice. But if you don't feel like using the guiding assistant because you don't want to lose 10 minutes of your imaging run, then use the defaults. Right. Use the defaults.
With hysteresis and do whatever.
They're going to be right most of the time. And one big thing that people sometimes have trouble with is it guides fine on one side of the sky, but as soon as you go to the other side, it runs away. You can't guide anything.
Yep.
There's a checkbox on
reverse.
On the guiding tab to reverse depth after a meridian flip.
Yep.
So you may have to experiment with that a little bit, but most German equatorial.
That's not in all cases, though. It just is dependent.
No. Most German equatorials.
Yeah.
Most German equatorials.
And I had something that I came up with last night, as a matter of fact, and it's the first time I've ever seen. Actually, I've seen it happen a couple times, and I don't know why it's happening, but it's something with Nina and the meridian flip settings. So whenever I start a sequence, no matter what, I hit play, and it starts off no matter what with a meridian flip.
Even if your target is on the side that you're on.
It doesn't matter. If I'm polar aligned, I'm done. I'm at the home position. I hit play, and no matter what object I do, it does a meridian flip.
Where do you have the meridian flip trigger?
Oh, I'd have to look. I think it was what is it, 5 minutes? I think.
No, but I mean, do you have it at the top of the sequence, or do you have it embedded in an
I have it
object
as a global
sequence?
at the top.
Yeah, that's your problem. The
But
meridian
I've always
flip
had
has
it
to
as a
be.
global at the top, and it never did that.
I don't know. I'll have to look at it. You still have some time.
Yeah, I got 3 hours in the bank too. You've been itching me. He's like, they're gonna expire. You gotta use it. I was like, charge
What are
me
you
in
doing,
April, charge me at Starfest. It's okay. Put it towards the beer. It's fine. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No
Jason
problem.
was saying, yeah, ever since going to harmonic mounts, guiding has been a breeze.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Good.
Sure.
I mean, I've been getting. I was talking to a gentleman today about the Nix 101 that I have, and I've been using it for well over a year. I have one of the first Nixes that came out, and I'm still guiding in cruddy New York skies. Bortle 8, seeings 3 to 4, and it's horrible. And I'm still getting like 0.6, 0.7, which is way below what I need to kind of have round stars because my seeing is for garbage.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
so everyone's like, "You getting 0.6 on Long Island?" I said, "Yeah, I'm getting 0.6 on Long Island. There's no problem."
That's your guiding, like the RMSR?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yep.
good.
That's good.
So yeah, I'm typically around 0.3 to 0.5 arc seconds
Yep.
for guiding total. Yeah.
Maybe it's a wire flip and not a meridian flip. It sees the wire. It thinks it's a new meridian.
So look, see if you can throw one more question at me, and I think I'm gonna go take some NyQuil and hit the
Sure.
sack.
Yeah, sure.
I'm looking here, and no, I think we've covered mostly everyone's question here, unless somebody's gonna drop one in here really quick.
No more guitar questions?
No more guitar questions. It doesn't look like it. No.
we got to do Astro Jam. That's what we got to do. We got to get that going.
It's crazy how many astronomers are involved in music and vice versa.
So weird,
It's
right?
ridiculous. Yeah, it is.
But if you think about it, what we do is art in a form as well. So I mean, music is an art. Being a painter is an art. Doing this is an art. I mean, you're painting. You're just painting with photons. So I mean, it's the same thing. So it's definitely all an art form, and I think that's the common thread that between astronomy, astrophotography. There's a lot of famous astronomers also that were very, very into music as well.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Chris had a question. He's like, "Can Ron adopt me? I could be like a foreign exchange student. He can get free pics inside."
There you go. We can put him on the treadmill, Ron.
No problem. No
Awesome.
problem. I'm actually looking for somebody to adopt me. Somebody that has a big telescope in Chile and swimming with movie stars.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, Ron. Well, hey, listen, it's been a pleasure having you again. Thank you for coming on. It's always a great time coming and hanging out with you. I miss you and Gail and the rest of the fam. We got to get to know each other pretty well.
We're gonna see you soon.
Oh yeah,
see you soon.
Yep. I'll bring Jen up too.
Before I go, I completely forgot.
Oh yeah,
Prue, right? So You know, I'm one of the people that teaches the Masters of Pix Insights workshops, and Pete, we have a workshop coming up on the 13th, next Tuesday. I'm going to be processing a photo of the clouds of Auriga, so IC405, IC410, the spider and the fly,
Spider and the fly.
you know, that beautiful red field in Auriga. So I'm going to be processing that photo basically live from start to end, and if you come, you get the data, you get to do it yourself. And we have a $5 discount for that, and the coupon code is MOP, M-O-P, MOP, and you can register at Masters of Pix Insight if you want to. We'd love to see you there. It's a lot of fun. It's getting to be kind of like a family. We get, you know, anywhere from 50 to 200 people at every workshop.
That's
So,
awesome.
lots of fun.
Putting it in the
That is great. That is absolutely great.
putting
in
it
the
in the
chat
chat
box?
right now. So
Yeah. I'm gonna make 100% sure that Pete, that I gave you the right code. Just give me 1 second here.
use mop.
Yeah, just checking. Yeah. Why can't I find it now? Probably because I asked yesterday. Come on. I have to check somewhere else, but I want to verify this. That's one of the things about COVID, man. It makes you really fuzzy in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
not
you've
finding-
used mop as the code before, so I mean that's probably what it is.
Yeah, it's MOP. I just can't find the message where he told me that, but I'm 99.9% sure that it is MOP. If you have any problems getting a discount with that code, contact Pete and give him shit for giving me the wrong code.
And you can email him at Peter Proul at
Yeah. No.
but
Sure
yeah,
that'll work.
seriously, Ron, thank you for spending
I
some of your night, especially you know you getting over the hill, not over the hill, over the hump of of COVID, and
If you
you
want to still be considered my friend.
I know it's almost
Oh,
past your
Daniel.
bedtime. I know. I'm sorry. You know. So.
Oh man.
Guys, thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you. I
And for all the
appreciate it.
people out there in La La Land, thank you for your questions and for tuning in. And this is great. I've known Dan, we've known each other, what, about 4 or 5 years now?
5 years, yeah.
I've kind of watched this all go from the beginning.
I know, and
It's great.
Masters of Pix Insight and yourself and Warren and Pete, you guys have been some crazy supporters of the channel, and we appreciate it so much. You allow us to give away all these, you know, workshops every Friday and the IP4AP yearly subscriptions and all that. So you know, we thank you and the rest of the team for that, because it means a lot to the members. So.
It's our pleasure.
Sure.
It's our pleasure. Okay, guys, thank you for having me. Don't leave it so long.
Take care.
I can't wait to the next one.
Well,
Looking forward
you
to
know
catching up with you at NEEF.
Yeah, we'll see you at NEEF. We'll do an interview at NEEF.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'm going to be there on the Saturday. I'm probably going to fly home on the Sunday.
All right, so
Okay.
make sure we get you at one of the booths, and we'll corner you for a 5-minute interview and chill out with us.
I'd love to do that.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Ron, thanks a lot.
Take
Feel
care.
better, man. Have a good night. Say good night
Live long and prosper.
Say good night to Gail
I
for me.
will.
All right.
See you later, you guys.
Bye bye.
Take care. Awesome. That was great. That was great.
And another wonderful night with with one of the best,
Yep.
Ron Brecher, personal friend of mine, and really great guy. So really knowledgeable. And I don't know if he said this, but he does also do private tutorials. You could just go to his website at astrodoc.ca, and you could sign up and get some one-on-one help if you want to. And don't forget MOP discount code for the next Message of Pixel Insight workshop. The Photons to Photos, I think 18 they're up to now. And he'll be doing the IC405 region, which is going to be a lot of fun. Oh,
Okay. Real quick before
Yep.
we call it a night.
Yep.
I'll share my screen here. Entire screen. And remind everybody of image of the week. Everything is up and running. We've been already getting some votes, but recap. Congrats again to Greg Meyer for his Orion landscape composite image. It's a beautiful shot there. And this week we have for the February 9th contest, polls already open, closes now at 9 p.m. Eastern. So February 9th, Fridays at 9. And we have 2 images for consideration. We have the Horsehead in Flame by Tom Peter and the Andromeda by Nathan Barnard. So those we have that are competing for this week's image of the week for February 9th. And we also have the image of the month nominees up. The polls are open for that as well. And that will run until February 23rd at 9 p.m. And those nominees are Abe Jones for Thor's helmet. We have the Christmas Cone and Phosphor Nebulae by Dave Schaefer. We have the Pleiades M45 by Dave Schaefer. And NGC 1333 by Tom Peter, the Embryo Nebula. And so far, we have 14 votes there. So don't forget to go ahead, if you haven't yet, hop over to astroworldweb.com/IOTW and cast your vote.
There you go.
Cool. All righty.
I have to switch your lighting back and forth.
Yeah. I've got to figure this out. So maybe I need to get some larger lights. These Lume cubes may not be doing the best work. So
unless if you got the large one, if you got the little one that's like 6 inches.
These are. I've got 2. I think I have 2 small ones.
Nah,
over here,
you need like if I could show you.
I need big ones. I need the bigger ones. There you go. Yes, like those.
Like that. These are cheap. These are from Newer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're the barn door ones. You get the 2 of them with the stands.
Mm-hmm.
Like $50.
There you go.
So that this one's broken, but I mean it works. Oh shit!
Oh, don't let it fall on you, man.
It's already broken. I dropped the S word.
Yeah.
But yeah. So don't forget. Also, next week we got Greg Crinclaw coming from Sky Tools is going to be here next week. Followed by the 21st, we got Bob Denny coming up. He's going to talk to us about alpaca. And then I'm working on George Helios, and that name may be familiar. He is the writer of the Pix Insight third-party plugin, Hocus Focus. So he is from New York as well. So he is going to be hopefully coming on. We're setting up some dates with him. And then in March, right before the solar eclipse, we have Alan Friedman coming on to hang out with us. So, and that's going to be great guy. Eric and I met him at NEAF last year, and he's a really nice guy. And he's got like a galleria opening up up in the Buffalo area, if I'm correct. Go check it out. Just Google search Alan Friedman Solar, and his website will pop up, and you could go check out, see what he's got coming. So it's going to be a lot of fun. What else? So picture of the week, picture of the month. Oh, calendars. I've been getting a lot of questions about calendars. Okay, so the final proof has been mailed to me already. I'm just waiting for it to come in, and I know it's a little bit later than what I thought that everybody would be getting them by. So I do apologize for the January winners that it didn't come out in time. But you know, they the calendar is on its way to me. Once I approve it, I will place the order for the 30 plus calendars that are back ordered, and hopefully you'll get them very soon. So I should see those probably within the next day or so, and then I'll place the big order. So I apologize for how long it's taking, but I just wanted to make sure it was right. That's all.
All right.
All right. I guess that's about it for tonight, ladies and gents.
Great show.
Final thoughts, Mr. Eric?
Yeah, Mr. Pixelated over here. Yeah, no, no,
Mr.
just
I
again.
need better lights.
Yes, I need better lights. No, again, thank you again to Ron, for his time. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the continued support. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you've liked, this show and like the other shows and the things that we're doing. If you're on Facebook, don't forget to share the show. And hey, if you see us on the replay, if you don't forget, thumbs up. We would really appreciate it. So. And it's all it really is just a click of a button. So,
yep,
no skin off no skin off your back.
And please, if you're really a super fan, and a lot of you people that are in the chat are literally here every week, take a link to your favorite show. All you people are on social media. Take a link from a show from 2 years ago. I don't care, and post it on Facebook. Post it, whatever. Hey, check this out. Check that out. Look at what they're doing. They've been around 5 years. You don't even know who they are. Check them out. And share the show, and share a link to your favorite show, to your favorite guest, to whatever you want. It helps out the show to get the viewership up, so we get more people involved, and we get, and listen, I'm not saying I don't love the same 30, 40 people that are in the chat every week and twice a week. But it's nice when you see a new name there and you say, oh, I haven't seen that name there. So, and they usually have a lot more questions. And it's nice to get new blood in. So please share the show, share a show with somebody in your social media, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Facebook, whatever social media platform you're on. Just share a link and see, let people like it. Even if you just want to share my Close Encounters video, that's fine. Or my Pennywise Halloween commercial. So whatever the case may be. But thank you all for your support, your membership. If you're a member on Patreon and or YouTube, thank you so much for your support. We got a lot of stuff going on coming up. We got Neef coming up. We have Cherry Springs coming up. We have Starfest coming up. So Eric, you better get your VMix rolling, or you're gonna be zooming it or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Nope. We'll touch base on that so I can get the.
We got to get Eric to a star party, because he has yet to be at one. Because the last one he chickened out of. So
chickened out, right? Whatever.
But thank you again to Ron.
Yes.
No other final thoughts for me, but it's time to go to bed. I've been up since 5:30, so I'm dragging a little bit here, so I apologize. But everybody have a great night. We'll see everybody for Eric, Constellation for Friday.
Yeah.
Constellation for Friday, and I picked one for you.
Great. Picked one. Awesome.
So, it's you got the giraffe, Camelot, Dark Pallidus, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And I stayed
Camel.
with the
Bring a
C's.
camel.
I stayed with the C's. So believe it or not, yeah, it's camelot or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
the giraffe. So go figure that
Yes.
out. And then I got Circadia or Circadia or something. It's the compass in the south. So I don't know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't think there's anything in it, but it's just as bad as
Should
the it's just as bad as the giraffe, I think. So so maybe a quickie, but so we got the two C's, we got the C squared going on, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So
Yeah.
enjoy the next 2 days, enjoy hump day and hemp night, and we'll see everybody Friday night. All right, everybody. So
right.
remember, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies, and we'll see you in a couple days. Have a good night,
Take
everybody.
care, everybody. See ya.
Bye bye.